I'll tell you how it started.
What year?
I'll tell you how that started. It was because, after I did the year at Caramoo, 58, 59, an alumnus of Caramoo, some years before, had gone to New York and had become the musical director of a new show that they were going to put on with a European tour. After a European tour, they were going to bring it back to Broadway. And the name of that show that they were doing at that time was Free and Easy, which was a rehash of an old show called The St. Louis Woman with Pearl Bailey and Harold Nicholas. And so I did that. He came to Caramoo, auditioned several people, and I think he took 3 people. I think it was myself, Beverly Todd, and Gwen Walters. And we all went to New York to audition again. Well, I auditioned, and I got the show.
And what was the name of the show?
Free and Easy.
Free and Easy.
Yeah.
And
this was going to be a show in which we were going to do it from New York, rehearsal, etc. Do the European tour, come back to London. Sammy was going to join us in London, and we were going to bring it into the Palace in New York. Well, as luck would have it, the producer and the director, both very headstrong, they got into a big brouhaha, and they couldn't solve their differences, so we folded in Paris. And Equity had to raise a bond and so forth to get us all back. It wasn't bad, though, being stranded in Paris. And so when I came back to New York, I had accumulated enough time to be able to stay in New York with the unemployment insurance and that sort of thing.
Did that lead you to Kwamina? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Kwamina.
Kwamina.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it began. So I began my stay in New York, and I became available for work in New York, auditioning for shows as much as I could find, and so that's how I got to stay in New York.
I see.
Because I could reasonably well support myself.
Now, when you did Kwamina, that was in the early 60s, is that correct?
60.
What was your role?
I played a young lover, and Ethel Ayler. You know Ethel?
No.
Well, Ethel Ayler was my
Your love interest.
counterpart, yeah.
Yes.
And the story was about the interracial romance of the son of the son of a chief of an emerging African country into independence. And they were both doctors, and they fell in love. And the girl that I went with, we became lovers. But she was betrothed to this chief, the chief's son. Mm-hmm. And but so we were kind of doomed. But we sang a beautiful duet together, etc.
Did you have a long run?
No, it was it wasn't fashionable then. I mean, the show, although it was a beautiful show.
Oh, because
Huh?
because of the 60s, you mean the political and racial turmoil
Yeah.
at the time?
Yeah, it was choreographed by Agnes DeMille. The producer was Alfred Deliagra. The director was one of the founders of the Actor Studio. I've forgotten his name for the moment. Bobby something, I forgot.
But your love interest was a white woman, is that right?
No.
No. I'm sorry, I
Ethel
missed
Lehman.
it. Okay. Who was a black woman?
Who was betrothed to the chief's
Chief.
son. So
Okay.
it was illicit.
I
in a
see.
sense.
I see.
We were both subject to being annihilated
I
any
see.
moment.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, because I thought you said at the beginning of that there was an interracial
Well,
relationship.
that was between the chief's son and one of his colleagues,
I see.
who was a white woman.
All right. But how did you feel about being on Broadway?
I felt it's where I belonged. I felt that I felt pretty good about it because I thought, here's a track I can follow. Here's something I can stay at. I can use all of my energy toward producing something later on. And that was what was most important to me.
Well, you certainly were on Broadway for many shows.
Yeah, I was on there for 17 years. I was on Broadway for 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah, and I did a lot of things in there.